warm and pleasant good afternoon to one and all. Welcome to LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for 1st of March 2024. So a new month have been started. I hope you are being very productive in all the months, and imagine the fact out of 12 months, we have already completed 2 months. So gear up guys for all the examinations that are coming up. We'll be starting with the today's agenda of the day, where we'll be speaking about the editorial section which relates to what about the Karnataka temple bill and what changes it proposed and how are the state managed temple revenue. So we'll be speaking about the revenue that temple has it in their pocket and what about the states tackling their revenue and why we are talking about it. And as per the schedule, we'll be speaking about some interesting news update and the legal news update of the day. Now, starting with the Karnataka temple bill controversy. Now, what happened here, guys? You need to understand that Karnataka government is attempt to tweak the law that governs the taxation of the Hindu temples, and the act name is Karnataka Hindu Religious Institution and Charitable Endowments Amendment Bill 2024, which was being introduced in the Legislative Assembly on February 19th and which was being passed on 22nd of February. However, it was rejected 2 days later in the Legislative Council. So it got rejected in the Legislative Council and it was passed in the Legislative Assembly. Now, what changes were being proposed for taxation of Karnataka temple? So the bill was meant to amend multiple provisions in the Karnataka Hindu Religious Institution and Charitable Endowments Act. So there were various amendments that were being proposed. Okay. The first and the most contentious was that it intended to divert 10% of the gross income of institution whose gross annual income exceed rupees 1 crore to a common pool. Now, what was that common pool? Common pool was maintenance of temple instead of existing 10% of the net income of institution whose gross annual income exceed 10 lakhs. So what changes it has been proposed that it intended to divert the 10% of the gross income of institution whose gross annual income exceed rupees 1 crore as compared to the previous existing framework of which stated the amount of 10 lakh. Now, net income is calculated based on the profit of the temple after accounting for its expenses, whereas gross income simply refers to the total amount of money the temple makes. Okay. Now, in addition to this particular fact, the bill dedicated 5% of income of institutions earning between 10 lakh and rupees 1 crore to the common pool, changing the previous income bracket from 5 lakh to 10 lakh. Okay. Now, in the recent amendment that has been passed, they would have generated an extra of rupees 60 crore from 87 temples with income of rupees 1 crore and 311 temples with income of rupees 10 lakh. Okay. Now, the Congress government has said the enhanced funds would be used to grant aid to lower income temples, provide terminal benefits to ailing priests, and provide scholarship to the children from the families of priests. So what Congress government has said on this particular bill that has come up, which led into the controversy, that they want that this particular aid should be used to the lower income temples as well as to the priest. Now, what were the criticism against this amendment? So the BJP leader accused the Siddharthamaya government of attempting to rob temples. So they categorized this bill as robbing the temples and questioned why only Hindu temples were being targeted. Why this is there? Under the bill also gave the Rajya Dharmik Parishad the power to appoint the chairman of this committee. The Rajya Dharmik Parishad is a body appointed by the state government that is empowered to make decisions on a variety of subjects related to religion. Okay. This includes religious dispute over practices and customs, whether a temple is a composite institution by allowing religious worship besides Hinduism, whether a temple is private, public, or denominational, and whether a person is a hereditary trustee of a religious institution by virtue of succession. Now, finally, the bill also required the state government to create district level and state high level committees to oversee the infrastructural project that can facilitate pilgrimage to temple, making more than 25 lakh annually. So there were many, arguments against this bill that were coming up. And there was an intention of saying that this particular bill has been come up to robe the temples. Now, Telangana approach shares similarities with Karnataka model. Under the Telangana Act of Hindu Religious Institution and Endowments Act, the commissioner in charge of administration of religious institution can create a common good fund. Religious institution making more than 50,000 annually are required to pay 1.5% of their annual income to the state government. After the government is repaid for expenses it has incurred under the Telangana Act, the commissioner can direct the remaining fund to be to the common good fund. Kerala employs an entirely different system where temples are often managed by state-run Devaswam boards. The state has 5 autonomous Devaswam boards that manage over 3,000 temples. These boards are run by nominees appointed by the ruling government who are often politicians. Now, this Devaswam board has a budget allocated by the state government and is not required to share revenue figures. The state has also enacted separate laws for each Devaswam board beside which deal with the administration and management of temples under their aegis. So here the law has been compared with the Kerala lawmaking body where they use the Devaswam board, and here the law is also compared with the Telangana body. Okay. Now, so this was all about the temple and what this particular law intended to bring and why it was being rejected by the Legislative Council. I hope that is absolutely clear to you. Now, we'll be starting with the national news where we'll be talking about the Intellectual Property Index. So, India ranks 42 out of 55 in International Intellectual Property Index. Okay. The US Chamber of Commerce has released this particular index, and this is the 12th edition of this particular index. Okay? So, India has been ranked 42 out of 55 countries in the index, and the topmost country here in the index is US, which is followed by UK and France. Okay. Now, PM unveiled Deendayal Upadhyaya statue, launched welfare scheme during Yavatmal visit on February 28. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has unveiled a statue of Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya in Yavatmal district of Maharashtra. Okay? He also addressed a women's self-help groups fair in Yavatmal, distributed PM Kisan and Maharashtra Rajya Namo Shetkari Mahasanman Nidhi of around 88 lakh to the farmers directly to the bank account. So this was all about the launching of the statue. PM Modi to virtually inaugurate world's first Vedic clock in Ujjain. So PM Modi will inaugurate world first Vedic clock, which is in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh, and is set for unveiling on March 1st. So it would be the world first Vedic clock. This clock will exhibit information related to Vedic Hindu Panchang, planetary positions, Muhurat, astrological calculations, and predictions. Time calculated is based on the duration from one sunrise to the next. So please do come visit Ujjain for this. Now, Sunil Bharti Mittal becomes first Indian citizen to be conferred an honorary kinghood by the Britain's king. So Bharti Enterprises founder and chairman Shri Sunil Bharti Mittal has become the first Indian citizen to receive an honorary knighthood from United Kingdom's King Charles III. Okay. The award grants Mr. Mittal the title of Knight Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Now, here we will be discussing that the honorary King Knighthood is one of the highest honors granted by the British sovereign to civilians. So please note here that this is the highest honor granted by the British sovereign to the civilians, which is conferred upon the foreign nationals in recognition of their exceptional contribution. So please note it down here that the Indian chairman, Bharti Enterprises chairman, Sunil Bharti Mittal got this prize. Okay. Now, Reliance Foundation launches Animal Rescue and Rehabilitation Initiative. So, Reliance Foundation has announced an animal rescue and conservation and rehabilitation initiative in Gujarat, Jamnagar. Okay. Named Vantara, the program is dedicated to rescue, treatment, and rehabilitation of injured, abused, and endangered animals both in India and abroad. So please note it down. The zoological park which they are maintaining will be soon accessible to the public. Now, Pakistan World Gold Council names Sachin Jain New India CEO. So World Gold Council has named Sachin Jain its new CEO of India. Jain, who will take up the new role next month, brings with him a deep understanding of the Indian consumer and jewelry market. So World Gold Council names Sachin Jain as new India CEO. Please remember this, it's a very important appointment. As the managing director of De Beers India, he has led the De Beers Forever Mark business in India and the Middle East. The next coming national news, India-US signed memorandum on law enforcement. So India and US has signed a memorandum of cooperation on law enforcement training between the US Federal Law Enforcement Training Center and India's Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy. This is a step to bolster bilateral efforts to combat terrorism and violent extremism, drug trafficking, organized crime, and ensure transportation security. So please remember, India and US signed memorandum on law enforcement. Now, coming up to the very days, like when we talk about important days, called as Rare Disease Day of 2024, which is observed on February 29, which is the observed on the last day of February every year. So 2024 being the leap year, Rare Disease Day is observed on February 29th. Now, coming up to the history, in the year 2008, Eurodix with the Council of National Alliance announced Rare Disease Day to be observed on February 29, keeping in mind the rarity of the day in the calendar. So please keep in mind Rare Disease Day 2024. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan launches SWAYAM Plus platform. So it's a platform that has been launched which will offer courses developed collaboratively with the industry. Indian Institute of Technology Madras will be operating the SWAYAM Plus platform. The key features of SWAYAM Plus include multilingual content, AI-enabled chatbot, and credit recognition. Please note this down that Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan have launched SWAYAM Plus. Okay? Chale. Now, rule disqualifying candidate having more than 2 children from government job does not violate constitution. So it's an update which is coming from the Honorable Supreme Court, where the Honorable Supreme Court has upheld the decision of the Rajasthan government to disqualify a candidate from applying to a police constable post for having more than 2 children. Okay, the court held that they stated the rules of Rajasthan Police Subordinate Service rules, which stated that no candidate shall be eligible for appointment to the service who has more than 2 children on or after 1st June 2022. So while relying on a judgment, they relied on a judgment named Javed and others versus State of Haryana. The Supreme Court observed that this court held that the classification which disqualifies candidate for having more than 2 living children was not discriminatory and intra-virus. The constitution, since the objective behind the provision was to promote family planning. So objective behind this particular legislation was to promote the family planning. So Supreme Court held in the case of Ramji Lal Jat versus State of Rajasthan. Now, guys, if you want to revise your previous Q&A, do attempt the daily quiz link that is mentioned in the description of this particular video. Please do like this particular video. This is free for you, but certainly help us to grow and gives motivation to upload it on daily basis. Please subscribe the channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Do take care of yourself.